All right, so we're back here on the special Couch Coach Live. We're going to kick off Super Week, and of course, this is a the perfect person to start off Super Week. My guy Larry from the Frankly Speaking Sports Podcast. What's going on, Larry?
How you doing tonight, Coach?
I'm doing well. It's good to see you again. We talked four weeks ago in our Washington versus Tampa Bay matchup 4 weeks ago, and very good to see you. And you guys are here in the Super Bowl, and we're going to talk about some Tampa Bay Buccaneers as they approach Super Bowl 55.
Sounds good, my friend. All of us in Tampa Bay are obviously looking forward to this Sunday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time when kickoff is finally here.
Absolutely, and and definitely a great moment for you guys, and you'll be the first team to ever have to host a Super Bowl. So that's such a that's such a great part of being that history on the right side of history. So that's definitely a good start. So Larry, I want to ask you first thing, before we get the preview started. So what's the biggest storyline to you heading into this matchup with the Kansas City Chiefs?
Well, the biggest storyline as far as the Super Bowl goes, and there's three things that are happening this week. When I'm listening to the media and seeing what their storylines are, the first one, obviously, as you know, Chris, this Sunday is going to be the first time that a woman official is in the Super Bowl. A lot of talk around Sarah Thomas being that first female, and we're excited in Tampa Bay for that, obviously. Not only did we make history once, but we're going to be making history again with the female official. Number two, if you have not heard it in that area, two of the Kansas City Chiefs are on the COVID reserve list now. But they did not contract the virus. They are on it because they were in contact with someone who had the virus. So that's a big storyline. That was DeMarcus Robinson, the wide receiver, and the center, Daniel Kilgore. And then the other big story that seems to be all over here, and, it's not as big Radio Row as you and I are accustomed to because of COVID. A lot of the media some of it hasn't even arrived yet. But the big story is being, what the heck does Eric Bieniemy have to do to become a head coach in the NFL? Obviously, Eric Bieniemy is the offensive coordinator of the Kansas City Chiefs. So those seems to be the main storylines. As far as anything going on with the players or anything like that, the only other thing is, obviously Mahomes and Brady. Is Tom going to retire before he's 75 years old, or is he going to continue to play? At this rate, the Redskins do have a chance at getting him as a free agent if he does stay at age 75.
All right, now don't get me hoping and wishing, because I want to be here a few years from now and saying we're in the Super Bowl. Hey, don't get my hopes up now.
Well, they did ask him today, and he said he's going to play. He'd like to play past age 45 when he was asked that today. And that, of course, caught a lot of attention because obviously he has a 2-year contract with the Buccaneers through next year. And if he's going to play, he's 43. Does that mean he stays in Tampa Bay? Or is there a possibility he goes somewhere else?
Wow, wouldn't that be amazing? A 45-year-old free agent. Wouldn't that be wild? Oh my
You
goodness.
never know in the game of football what you'll see.
Wow, that would be crazy. But like you said, it is a possibility.
Yes,
it's not far-fetched. It's not as far-fetched as we would imagine, but wow, I couldn't imagine what would a 45-year-old quarterback would command in a quarterback market. That would be fascinating in itself.
And the amazing thing, Coach, he's not playing for the money. He's playing because, and he's not only does he believe it, he's showing it. He's still playing at a very, very high level. You throw for 4,700 yards, 40 touchdowns in a season, and most quarterbacks, that would be a career year for them. But Tom Brady, it wasn't even his best year.
Right. It's a regular year, but he's 43 years old, which is
Amazing.
it is so bizarre. And so now I want your thoughts on just the season. That's how everything played out from pretty much from the loss to New Orleans in opening week to now we're here, 4 days for the Super Bowl. Just your thoughts on the season.
Well, Coach, if you look at the beginning of the season, I know you and I talked a little bit about this the last time we were on. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers were a team at the beginning of the year that struggled. And they struggled for good reason. They haven't played together. Look at all the different players that came on this team that did not get an opportunity to practice, do OTAs. It's one thing if you had a team like the Kansas City Chiefs who brought back 20 of 22 players from last year. Well, they're not going to need as much continuity as a team like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But you bring in a Tom Brady, a Rob Gronkowski, a Leonard Fournette, an Antonio Holmes, a Tristan Wirfs, an Antoine Whitfield. None of these guys have played together. And, people were freaking out here in Tampa, even in the national media. They're like, what's going on with this Tampa Bay team? Rather than realizing, hey, they're just going to take a little time to get together. And, about halfway through the season, this team started showing glimpses of the offense coming together. And as the season went on, especially the last fall game, not only did you see the offense coming on, now as your Washington football team got to see, and so did the Packers and the Saints, that defense started coming on. And you put those together when your offense can create turnovers like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have been doing the last 3 weeks and say, Tom Brady, here you go. Please go 30 yards for a touchdown, and we'll just start over again. It's amazing. And I think all the fans out there, now the national media, they're finally seeing this team as a whole team. Because, if you and I look at the last couple of games the Buccaneers played, I don't want to take anything away from the terrific offense and the power the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have, but it's been the defense that has come through for this team at key times. And as you saw in the Green Bay game, they didn't win the turnover battle. They did not win the turnover battle, and they still won the game. The reason being is that they went ahead and compensated and got points on the mistakes that the other teams made. So as far as the season, it's a complete turnaround, Coach. It's a complete turnaround. You knew what the team had on paper, but, think about this. 8 seconds left in the half. You call a timeout. You're going to kick a field goal. Your quarterback comes up to you and says, Coach, no, I think we can score. Coach says, all right, has belief in him. He goes out. He hits Scotty Miller for a touchdown. I'm sorry, I don't want to offend any New England fans, but if that's in New England, I don't know if Belichick lets him back out there. I just don't know. I'm not saying he won't, but I'll tell you what, this is the continuity that everybody was talking about early in the season. Oh, what's going on with Arians? What's going on with Brady? They don't have the same love affair that was going on in New England. And now you're seeing these guys, the respect they have for each other and everything. They got one more game to go. We don't want to forget that. But everything seems to be gelling. There isn't a better time to peak than right now. And the other thing, Coach, that you and I talked about on the show last time you were on my show was that it's not the team with the best record going into the playoffs. It's the team playing the best football, and the Pittsburgh Steelers showed that. They won their first 12 games, but they lost their last, 3 out of 4, 4 out of 5 games. And what happened? They lost right in the playoffs. Well, look what happened. Look at the Buccaneers playing hot, and right now, it's going to be an unbelievable game.
Yeah, and I don't know if we really touched on it when we did the wild card preview, but another thing when you think about, and it's funny now, I brought this up in a previous show, that late bye was crucial because you look at now, you guys haven't lost that Kansas City game in week 12, and y'all just been rolling.
Yeah, and the bye week, yeah. At first when you're a fan and you look at that bye week, you go, oh, that's terrible. We got to wait till week 13 to have a bye. But now, after the bye week, you look at it and you say it was probably the best thing that has happened to this team. They got to regroup. They got a week to relax. They got a week to listen to their coaches, work things out. And like you said, it's been lights out. Since that, they have not lost a game, and I have not trimmed my beard either since that loss, which Monday I finally decided to trim it, but I've kept it the whole time, Coach, and I'm going to keep it at least through Sunday's game.
Hey, absolutely. Now, it's funny. I was going to ask you about the beard because I was like, that's like a playoff beard. That seemed like that's something that's been brewing for the last 7-8 weeks or so. So
yes,
yeah,
sir.
definitely. Yeah,
yes,
man. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Perfect. So what do you see as the biggest strength of your opponent, the Kansas City Chiefs?
Well, I think everybody would say the same thing, Coach. They offense. They got an unbelievable – not that the Buccaneers don't, and we can talk about that in a little bit, but this Kansas City team with Tyreek Hill, Hilaire in the backfield, everybody knows what Mahomes can do. But the biggest strength for KC that scares me more than anything is Travis Kelce. I mean, this guy is a beast. I think he had another 1,400 yards receiving. I mean, you look at this game, we possibly are looking at two of the better tight ends in the entire NFL with Gronkowski on one side and Kelce on the other. But Kelce is a big guy. Kelce runs for yards. He's one of those things where, if Mahomes can go ahead and if he's getting pressured, that's his outlet. And we also know after he catches the ball, what he can do after he catches it, yards after catch. I think they call it yak. Yeah. He's just incredible with the ball. I'll tell you what, he's my favorite by all. When I look at players that I love to watch in the NFL, he's one of those names that come up.
Yeah, absolutely. And so what is the biggest weakness for your Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
When you look at this team, there is a weakness here, okay? But it's on the defensive side of the ball. Tampa Bay Buccaneers have given up probably more passing yards the entire year. I think they're like 30th in the NFL out of 31, 32 teams they're on in the NFL. And the one thing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have to do to win this game is they're going to have to eliminate the big plays. And what do I mean by the big plays, Coach? I mean that you can have 1 or 2 30-yard passes. The Buccaneers with the style of defense and the constant pressure they put on the quarterback that you're going to have a man open now and then when you go ahead and blitz as much as they do. But if you can eliminate, Mahomes to a couple big plays a half, you're going to win that ball game because for every big play they get, if you watch the Buccaneers this year, it seems like they come back and make a bigger play that's an advantage to them. So I would say the weakness, and I said this and you saw what your backup quarterback, who I love to death, and I really hope he gets his chance next year, did versus our defense. We're a type of defense that, for some reason we start early allowing those passes to come in front of us and give up an 8, 9, 10-yard catch, against Mahomes, the key to this, Coach, is that pressure of the front seven of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers has to get to Mahomes quicker than Mahomes can get to his receivers.
Big time. And yeah, especially, and that's definitely right on the money of the Week 12 matchup where the big plays kill the momentum. Big time.
Yeah, and that, and big plays, as you know, Coach, it doesn't matter if we go back to the Doug Williams times when he played with the Washington Redskins, also a former Buccaneer, I may say.
Yes.
But when you look at a Super Bowl, turnovers are magnified even more than the regular season. Yes, they're the same thing, but it's the Super Bowl now. You don't have tomorrow to look at it and to correct it next week. You make a mistake, the mistake could cost you the season. I'm sorry, the Super Bowl. I mean, so, every little mistake, and we talk about the turnover battle all the time, But you and I know that the turnover battle in this game, the team that prevails in that area should prevail at the end of the day.
Yeah, big time, because that's where because it's going to be an offensive goal. But if you can capitalize on defense and put points on the board on the defensive side, that's going to definitely, I will put that pretty much will put the cherry on top of the sundae, essentially.
Absolutely. I agree with you 100% on that.
Yeah. Big time. So what is the matchup that you're looking forward in this matchup?
Everybody talks about Mahomes versus Brady, and we already know. You don't have to say anything. But the one that I would watch up was for pretty similar what we talked about in the Washington game. This game is going to be won and lost in the trenches. Okay, who protects their quarterback? Look at it from either side of it. Who protects their quarterback the best, or who gets to the quarterback the best? The offensive and defensive lines of both these teams, we know that it's banged up. The Chiefs are banged up. They lost their Erickson with Achilles last week. They lost another guy. I think Schwartz is out. So they got two guys. But, the one thing about Kansas City is they have been able to compensate for their losses on the offensive line all year long. But these lines are going to have, Mahomes got banged up. You saw what happened to Mahomes last week when he got hit. It looked like he had a concussion for a little while. They're going to be blitzing him hard. The key, like I said earlier, is definitely two things. It's going to be the line and how the cornerbacks are Bunting, Murphy Bunting, Hal Dean, Carlton Davis. How are these guys going to match up against their receivers to stop not only the receivers, but also Travis Kelce? But at the end of the day, the line that plays the best, it goes without saying, is going to be more successful.
Absolutely. Definitely agree with that one as well. So what are the keys to a Tampa Bay Buccaneers Super Bowl win?
Well, there's a couple of them, and there's always a couple. Number one, you got to get to Mahomes. You pressure Mahomes, you're going to win this game. And lately, you've seen what the Buccaneers did to Rodgers. You've seen what they did to the Saints. And we're talking about two, people can say, well, with Washington, it's a rookie quarterback, and he probably played, I thought, the best out of all three of them. You can argue to that point, but you saw two of the best quarterbacks maybe of all time in the NFL, and Rodgers and Breeze, and you saw what this front seven, and that's because of Vita Vea being back, Coach.
Yeah.
Vita Vea, you don't see his name in the statistics, but what he does to allow Barrett and Pierre-Paul to get in there and get sacks is incredible. So I definitely think that's going to be the key, getting them home. Number two, I don't think it's a question. First of all, I think all the fans out there listening, Coach, and I'm not knocking the Chiefs, but if you look at this Chiefs defense, they're not a very good defense. They're terrible against the run, and that's going to be the key for the Buccaneers on the offensive side is Ronald Jones and Leonard Fournette. And, they're going to start out trying to use both of them like they did last week as a 1-2 scenario, but at the end of the day, this is the last game of the season. So whoever has the hotter hand, by halftime, I would say is going to get more of the touches in the second half of this game. But if you can establish a running game, and, those people out there better realize Tom Brady can score at will, okay? So at the end of the day, they're not afraid to be, third down and 6, third down and 7. I mean, last week, I think they made over 50% of their third down conversions. Obviously, the 1 4th down conversion with the touchdown. So, they're not afraid of that. I think you're going to have to, if you can get Fournette and Jones to average 25, 26 carries in this game, pound that yardage, because the running game allows you to do two things. It allows you to do play action and open things up and disguise things, and it allows Tom Brady to be able to read what the defense may do. And Tom Brady's at his best, as everybody knows, when he's doing play action. So that's number two. The other thing that number one. Number two, it establishes game management. You control the clock now. You have sustained drives rather than these 2-minute drives. Now you're taking a 6 or 7 or 8, maybe even 10 minutes off the clock. And what an unbelievable job. But I honestly think that running game, and don't fall behind, Coach. You know the Buccaneers in the past have had an to do that. They did that versus the Chiefs earlier in the season. They were down by big points and came back and made it close. Buccaneers are going to have to score, and they're going to have to score quickly.
Yeah. And no offense to my guy, I love Kyle Shanahan to death, but don't Kyle Shanahan this. Please don't. Yeah, and like you said, that's definitely definitely some major keys for that for Tampa Bay. So I'm gonna put you on the hot seat. Your prediction for Super Bowl 55.
I want you to think of this scenario, Coach. The Bucs needed a quarterback. They went out, they got a quarterback in Tom Brady. He led this team to the Super Bowl. The Bucs needed, a guy in the middle of the field to help the defense, sort of like a quarterback. They drafted Antoine Winfield Jr. They needed to solidify that offensive line that was so poor last year with Jameis Winston. Although it's a pretty similar line, except for one person. Tristan Wirfs, the rookie, who has only allowed one sack the entire year. So people say to me, what do you think of this game? Well, they got every part of that has helped them get to the Super Bowl. But there's one thing that would be so ironic and icing on the cake is if the Bucs come down, they're driving less than 10 seconds left in the fourth quarter, and Ryan Succop kicks a game-winning field goal. Because it's been a curse here in Tampa Bay. We got Matthew Gay last year. We gave him up. We haven't had a great kicker since Martin Gramatica. And Ryan Succop has been the unsung hero. A lot of people don't remember, Coach. In the last game, he had a big field goal in that game to put them up by over one score to pretty much help them win that game. He's been so automatic. But if you ask me, I definitely think the Buccaneers are going to win. I think the Chiefs, and I know the Chiefs were great last year. They got back to the Super Bowl. I think they're a little overrated. I really do. And I think the Buccaneers defense is going to come to play. So I'm looking at, everybody's talking about this high scoring affair. 3-0. No, I'm just kidding. Not 3-0. But I honestly think this game's going to be more of a 31-17 game, and the Bucs will prevail.
The Bucs, okay. And what's funny that you say this, but Larry, Ryan Succop. Now, it's funny. If this happens, you need to be a script writer in Hollywood. If Ryan Succop hits a game-winning field goal, Mr. Irrelevant, and he was drafted by the Kansas City Chiefs as Mr. Irrelevant back in the days. Mm-hmm. If this happens, I need lottery numbers for the next few weeks. And
a quick funny story to that, Coach. Yeah. My wife is a Tennessee Titans fan.
Oh, okay.
And I've got to watch Ryan, and Derrick Henry, I've always loved, and I watch him every week. He's my favorite running back. And I always watched Ryan Succop, and I've always liked what he did. He was a little off last year, and all of a sudden, and I said, if we can get this I wanted 2 field goal kickers before the season started. Either Ryan Succop or name you might remember, Steven Gostkowski. He used to kick for the New England Patriots. Yeah. And we ended up getting Succop, and I was so happy. And I told, even on my show when we first got him before the season started, I told people, this guy is a good kicker. He just went through a spell like all kickers went through, where the only thing is the life of a kicker is so short. Even a coach's job is more secure than a kicker's job in the NFL. So that's what happened. And Ryan Succop has just been, like I told you, tremendous for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah, and if that happens, we're gonna get you a story in Hollywood. Like if when you painted that scene, you know what? If that happens, yeah, we're gonna. Hollywood is calling.
Now, Coach, notice I didn't say it's going to hit the right crossbar, hit the left one, and then go in.
No, but yeah, you're right. Now that would be definitely compelling to say the least. But yes, indeed. So we'll put a bow on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers preview. So, Larry, where can they find you on social media?
On social media, a couple places. I have my own Facebook group, Frankly Speaking Sports, and Crew Life. That's the banner you see right here, Crew Life. So I'm on both of those and Northeast Streaming Sports as well. But as far as my Twitter account is at Larry Frankus. That's with the U.S. at the end of my name. That's all it is. I never realized there was so many Larry Franks in the world. So I'm the one with, the funny looking guy. But so there, I'm on also YouTube under Frankly Speaking Sports as well. So either Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Join me. We got some great shows coming up, Coach. I don't know if you're on tomorrow night, if you're doing a show or not. I don't know if you do yours nightly or not.
Mm-hmm.
But tomorrow night, leading in, I do shows Wednesday, Thursday. I'm doing it. And tomorrow night, listen to this group. Chris Dishman, former Houston Oiler, cornerback, 2-time Pro Bowl, followed by former Heisman Trophy winner and NFL Hall of Famer Tim Brown, followed by 7-time Emmy Award winner, sports columnist, sports journalist Roy Firestone tomorrow. So we got an incredible Super Bowl week down here in Tampa. Love to have your fans on, to listen to us, unless, of course, you're doing a show, sir.
No, not tomorrow. We're doing something a little early, but we'll definitely be in it.
I'm sorry, you broke up on me there for a minute.
Oh yeah, we're doing something earlier, so yeah, that would definitely yours. We'll be all settled in and settled in for the night, and
you'll be in your covers sleeping. I understand.
Not quite. I might be on the couch and nodding off, but
that's better.
I'll be resting my eyes right around that time, but I'll still be of hearing mind. So
all right,
yeah. But definitely appreciate you coming on, Larry, and definitely appreciate it. And good luck on Sunday. And man, we'll definitely catch up eventually down the road. And appreciate you for coming on.
Well, Coach, anytime, I'm here for you. Anything you need.
I think you broke up.
I said, thank you for having me tonight. Anytime you need me, you just give me a call and I'll be here.
Will do. Appreciate you. And good luck to your Bucks. And this has been the Tampa Bay Buccaneers Bowl 55 preview with our guy, Larry. And we'll catch you guys on the next go-around. This has been Couch Coach Live.